ready. I had the green screen, but the new configurations of the new unit doesn't allow for the space. This is my this is my step and repeat from my 50th birthday party. That's what that is. Since we're being transparent on here tonight. So, but listen, so tonight we're gonna get into conversation again. We are off the bench live, a whole week full of motivational speakers. I got 3, possibly 4 speakers tonight coming on, and Isha, you are the lead hitter. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to move out your way, and when you're finished discussing and talking what you're gonna talk about, come back and we'll have like a brief Q&A. You and I will talk and ask some questions. So the floor is yours.
Sure. And and I just want to have a conversation with you all. So this isn't me coming to quote motivate you. I just want to talk to you, entrepreneur to entrepreneur. I've been in this for 11 years, and if you've been in this for more than a day, whether it's coronavirus or not, you know that entrepreneurship is not as pretty and sexy as folks make it look on Instagram. This is a journey. And those of us who have signed up for this, if again, you've been in it for a while, you know that we constantly deal with our shares of ups and downs. But here is one thing that I know about entrepreneurs. We are problem solvers. When we decided that we were going to create something that didn't exist before, whether that is a piece of jewelry, a candle, a service, write a book, bring our message to the world, whatever it is, when we decided to do that, it was because there was a problem that we wanted to solve. We saw a need. We felt like there was something inside of us that we could bring to meet that need. And that hasn't changed. Just because there is uncertainty that has been introduced into the world by coronavirus, who you are has not changed. Your creativity has not changed. You being a problem solver has not changed. And so what we need to do right now is to step back and to just reassess and to think about, okay, if we know the people that we're called to serve, what is different about their lives today than maybe a month ago? What challenges exist for them right now? What opportunities exist? What challenges will exist from them for a month from now or 3 months from now when this all is over? Now, based on who we are, what can we bring to the table to help them to meet those needs? And so if you're struggling, thinking about, okay, well, this was my 2020 plan, and here were my numbers, and here was what I was supposed to do, and here were the numbers that I was supposed to hit, and all that got thrown out the window, it's okay. Because when we have seen, and if you look over, go all the way back to the Great Depression, anytime there have been economic downturns, that is the climate where new millionaires are birthed. Because they see the opportunity that is presented and they move on it. They move on it. They move on it. This is not the time to get into analysis paralysis. This is the time to take action. Build the plane as you go. And I'll tell you, this is something that I'm having right now. I had my full plan. I had just to kind of step back and tell you a little bit about who I am and what I do. I've been in business for 11 years, and my focus area for the past couple of years, and I had just shifted my business strategy 2 years ago, had been focusing on helping authors and consultants and thought leaders to share their messages on bigger platforms. I have a media background. I have a corporate PR background. I've worked for some of the largest companies in the world, doing media training and speech training for leaders, and helping them to share their message. And so I started taking that to people like us and helping us to be able to make a bigger impact with our message. Well, had my plan, but of course, as I'm starting to have conversations with people, for some, I don't know if I want to make that kind of investment right now. I don't know what the next 3 months are going to look like. So I've had to step back and say, okay, there are still some people that will be interested in this, but this may not be the right time for some people. So then stepping back and asking myself that same question, what are the challenges that people are having right now? And based on who I am, how can I meet those needs? And 3 years ago here, I live in the Phoenix area, and 3 years ago, I started a program called Startup Life Support. And I tell people it's like AA for entrepreneurs. I mean, because one of the things that I found myself, when I started my business 11 years ago, I didn't have anybody in my immediate circle who got it, who understood what life felt like, the uncertainty that we felt day to day trying to figure things out. And, a lot of my very well-meaning friends and family members would say to me, if things looked like they were getting a little rocky, well, why don't you just go get a real job? This isn't working out for you, because they just didn't understand that something of what they saw was just normal life for entrepreneurs. And when I moved from Michigan, where I'm originally from, here to Arizona, I was blessed to really connect with a group of wonderful people, all of whom were business owners, all of who understood what I was trying to build, what I wanted to accomplish. We got it, and we were able to be there and really support each other. And that is the reason that I've been in business for 11 years. And I've certainly had wonderful mountaintop moments. I've published 2 books, been featured in others, have been, featured on TV and radio across the country. But every day isn't always easy. Every day isn't always sunshine. But what has been able to hold me down and keep me focused on my goal is my community. And so through Startup Life Support 3.5 years ago, when we launched that, it was to be able to bring that sense of community to other entrepreneurs who didn't have it. And, I always wanted to keep it face to face, because I felt like, well, everything is online. I want us to be able to connect face to face. And so I stayed there, even though there were people that were like, well, can we be here? Can we be here? We want to participate. Nope, it's face to face. We're doing it in Phoenix. But what last Monday, or really, what's today? I can't even figure out what today of the week is. Last Monday, what last Monday brought, as I looked at things shifting very quickly, is recognizing that more entrepreneurs were going to need that support. And although I wanted to keep it face-to-face, number one, face-to-face was no longer even an option. But instead of just shifting our small community, who was based here in the Phoenix area, online, there were a lot of other people that needed this. And so instead of overthinking it, instead of, having to answer every question and do everything before I flip that switch, I just decided, this is what people need. This is who I am. This is what I do. And we're going to just move on it. And so one of the things that I challenge you to do right now is to just allow yourself to be creative. There may be some things that you've been thinking about doing, but maybe it wasn't the right time. Because I will tell you, I don't think 3 years ago it was the right time for me to do this. Now it is. And so instead of, sitting back and feeling like we're stuck, what is that opportunity we can take advantage of? And this is a moment. This is a moment. And we can make a decision on whether we will focus on the uncertainty or whether we will focus on the opportunity. And so I really want to encourage you to focus on the opportunity. And there are people who need you. There are people who need your gifts. There are people who need your voice. There are people who need your message. There are people who need your creativity. And if you've been playing in the background or playing small, okay, what do you need to do to change that? Is it you need to learn the technology so that you can perhaps do what you do in a different way? Okay, figure it out. There are plenty of people and resources out there to help you do it. But there are no barriers. The only barrier is you. And so I encourage you to make a decision right now that you will focus on opportunities and not uncertainty. And you will step up and you will be what the world needs in this moment. And sometimes it takes everything around us to just go crazy, to seemingly fall apart, for us to step back and say, okay, God, what do you want me to do now? What's my assignment now? This is what I plan to do, but what's my assignment now? And you're not done. I don't care if I just got a message. There's a restaurant, a little cafe I absolutely love here in Arizona. And I just got a message that they're closing their doors for good. And I literally wanted to cry. But I will tell you, for those beautiful people that run that cafe, even though this era may be ending, their assignment is not over. The joy that they brought to people through that restaurant, there's another assignment for them. And so I hope that they are getting quiet and getting with God and figuring out what that new assignment is. And I encourage us all to do the same. Because you know what, and I host a podcast called Clear Talk, and we were recording a show last night just talking about everything that's going on right now. And one of the things that I shared there is I really look forward to hearing the stories 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, on what was birthed out of this time for you. What did you do differently? What did you act on that you had been sitting on for years, perhaps, that this gave you the opportunity, or perhaps backed you clear against the wall to where you didn't have a choice but to act on it now? But what's gonna come out of it? So I want to hear, and in fact, I'm just put this hashtag out here. I want to know what your Corona wins are. So hashtag Corona wins. Every time something comes out of this that, you know, hey, if it hadn't been for this, this wouldn't have happened. I wouldn't have done this. I wouldn't have had the opportunity to serve people in this way. I want to hear about it. So I encourage you all to share your hashtag Corona wins with us, because we all need to know that we're winning. And I will tell you this, because you already know it, but just to reinforce it, the government is not going to save us. We are going to have to save ourselves. And there are some of us that are called to have a very high earnings potential. Like success is just on us. It's on us in a big way. And we're not walking in it. We're not living it, because we've been content just being able to take care of ourselves, or just being able to take care of our immediate family. But there are people who are going to rely on us for survival, not just through this experience, but in the future as well. So don't just worry about taking care of your house and making sure your needs are met, but think about when you are living life at its highest level, when you are as successful as you are capable of being, whether that is in a traditional career and you're working for someone else, or as an entrepreneur, what that success allow you to be able to do for other people? What doors will you be able to open up? What opportunities will you be able to grant? In short, the question is, who wins when you win? Because it ain't about you. And as long as we're just making it about ourselves, we're not really pushed or challenged to do a whole lot. Long as my mortgage is paid, all right, I'm good. But when we start to think about the impact that others need, what we can do, what doors we can open. I'll tell you, one of my goals is to open an entrepreneurship center back in my hometown of Mount Clemens, Michigan. It's going to cost a lot of money to make that happen, perhaps, or maybe I can get some partnerships. But what I know, what I'm making today isn't going to do it. So that means I need to make more money. I need to have bigger opportunities. I need to play a whole different game on a whole different level to be able to make the kind of impact on the world that I know I'm called to live. And I know I'm not the only one. So if that's you too, I am challenging you. I am calling you out right now. You got to stop playing small, because there are people who are waiting on us. They're depending on us. They're relying on us. And we can no longer be content just getting by. So I want to see what's going to come out of this for all of us. I know it's going to be something good, but again, focus on the opportunity and not the uncertainty.
And the church says, amen, amen. The door, won't you come? Won't you come? The doors of entrepreneurism are open to you, all who will. Oh my God. Isha, girl, I'm over here taking notes, and oh Lord, that's, you know what, again, when I put this stuff together, y'all, please understand, I do go by what confirmation has and says. And when you start reaching out to people that you know, in that moment, you're talking about doing things that we're gonna do in this moment. I mentioned this last night. about this thing I'm doing this week. Like, I didn't know what to do. I don't, but I know about 40 speakers who do. Let me reach out. Let's see what you got to say, because this platform and this thing is what I want to do. It is how I want to get the message out, mine, yours, because there are people out there right now who need what we're talking about. We need the conversation. Some entrepreneur just said tonight, this is it. Honey, dust off the marketing plan. We're going in. Damn the guards and torpedoes. We're about to appropriate everything else.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. So Isha, girl, you drop it. Everybody remember somebody put that in the line for me out there. Hashtag Corona wins. Put that out there, because that's going to be something we need to all just remind ourselves. And I keep telling my kids and whoever, we've been here before. And like my daddy always said, there's somebody always making money in the up market and in the down market. I was watching Kawasaki on YouTube. And he's like, I made more money when the market crashed than it does right now. I said, whoa, he know what he's talking about. But it's true. The only difference, like you said, is, are you going to focus on, what do you say? The uncertainty or the opportunity? That's what you said. Focus on the uncertainty or the opportunity that's going to now allow you to go get that dream that you had. So Isha, let's back up a couple steps. When you are consulting with businesses right now, what are like some of their, outside of being able to shut their doors, other big fears that they have?
Well, I think the biggest concern that I'm seeing from people is, I had my plan and now I can't work my plan. I mean, there are people that have seen speaking engagements canceled. Just for myself, I was supposed to have a book launch yesterday. It was part of like this big Black Girls Brunch that we do here. That went away. And so I'm sitting on top of inventory of books in there now that I need to move. And so, you know, we've just seen a lot of things that were in our plans that we felt sure of, we felt confident in, and that is no more. And so the biggest question that people are trying to figure out is, what do I do now? And people are trying to get particularly folks that have higher end products or services. I see people trying to get a feel for, what are people's appetites for spending right now.
Right.
Because there are things that we're gonna have to buy toilet paper. You know, nobody is worried about that. If you're in a business where the necessity is there, then you know you're gonna be okay. But I mean, even people who are in the beauty industry, you had to close your salons down. You're not doing makeup anymore. You're not doing hair anymore for the foreseeable future. And, you know, I think about my makeup artist. She has a line of eyelashes. I see her getting ready to do makeup instruction online now. And so there are things where you can take your gift and then say, okay, how can I still turn this into an income stream that is meeting an immediate need that people have? Maybe if I'm sitting in my house right now, I'm not going to be all glammed up every day, but I hadn't had that. Maybe it's something that I know people that have said, oh, I want to learn how to put on my makeup, but they've just never done it because they haven't had time. They're busy. Well, you're sitting at home now every day. You got time now. And so her being a shift on that dime, and to be able to say, okay, I'm going to put this class out there now. There's an appetite for it, and people can play around because you don't have all the stress of everyday life and being overscheduled. And yeah, maybe you got kids running around the house and you're trying to homeschool and life looks different, but it also is providing that opportunity to bring our gift in more creative ways.
That is the creativity piece in us, that, or almost the survival thing, what to do next. How can we use this? Imagine a few years ago, this platform wasn't available to us and we'd be scrambling, trying to get out. We've been selling out the trunk of the car at the park. You know, we're gonna roll it back to the mixtape days, whatever we have to do to get it out. So my question to you now is, what is the shift for you and your book, which you need to mention so people can go online and buy it and support you? What is the book about? So
the latest book, and this was actually a feature that I'm in, and look, let me grab them. I got them over here. So the latest book, so I'll show you the two older books and then we'll go into the latest book. So my first book is 5 Rules to Win Being You. And this is really a personal branding book. And so this is focused on, how do you really understand who you are and the unique contribution that you're bringing to the world? So that's out there. And then a book that I wrote with my clients. And so I published this book as well, but I've got 15 of my clients and collaborators in it, On Purpose, Practical Strategies to Live Your Best Life. This really runs the gamut on everything from economics to being able to say no, mental health, just everything that really allows us to be whole and to focus on, where we need to be and who we need to be. But the newest book is a collaboration that was presented by Bridget McGowan, and it's called Own the Microphone: How 50 of the World's Best Professional Speakers Launched Their Careers and How You Can Too. And so this book, one of the things that we're gonna do now to, again, thinking about how do we meet this need? I know a whole lot of people who wanna speak and you do too, we all do, and who just haven't figured out how to make that happen. And so April 4th, I'm going to do a virtual book launch. But in that, we're going to teach. I'm going to bring in some collaborators who are in the book as well, and we're going to teach. And so not just get the book, but you'll get to actually learn from some of the people who are already doing the thing that you want to do. So that was one adjustment that we've made. And you can find out about that if you go to ishaonpurpose.com. You can sign up for that book launch party. And this is the only book launch party that's about you and not about the authors. It's about you. So ishaonpurpose.com, you can connect there. But the big shift again was taking startup life support online. And I'm really excited about that. And I've set a pretty ambitious goal. And I was having a conversation with my coach today, and something that, in the conversation we were having that made me write this down. And she said, you've got to serve your way through this.
Say that again.
You got to serve your way through this.
You have to serve your way through it. Go on and stretch that out a little bit, because I think it just missed a bunch of folk. Go ahead and stretch that out.
So for me, so what do we typically do in this right now? We're thinking about our bills. We're thinking about how we're going to replace our income. We're thinking about our needs. But we're not thinking about the people who need us. When we were going to show up for those speaking engagements that got canceled, who are we showing up for? Who needed us? What need were we meeting? And so for me now, it's like, okay, if I had this many speaking engagements that were going to get canceled and I was supposed to touch this many people, so how am I going to replace that? How am I going to serve more people? So even as we switch to take startup life support online, well, my touch point here was maybe 30 people when we were doing it face to face. And so I'm like, okay, we need to exponentially blow that out of the water. So in the next 30 days, I want to touch 300 entrepreneurs. So we want to be able to welcome 300 entrepreneurs into the Startup Life Support family so we can serve them, so we can help them to get the support that they need, to build the collaborations, to build the community, to just be able to talk through stuff. Because how often do we just sit and we're just mulling over stuff in our heads trying to figure it out? But you can have a conversation with somebody and they're like, well, Mark, have you thought about XYZ? You're like, dang, how come I didn't think that was so simple? How come I didn't think about that? And that's what we're missing so many times. We're beating our heads against the wall trying to figure out the answers, but we need each other. We need community. We thrive in community. And within our face-to-face community on Startup Life Support, we've been able to build that. There are people that have worked on projects together. There are people that have become clients of each other, but not because it was some like sleazy networking feeling thing, but because they just built relationship and they wanted to collaborate and they wanted to, okay, you know what you're doing. I trust you to help me on this. You get it. And so those relationships grow out of it. And so we want to be able to bring that to people. And so I'm excited about going online, being able to create this unique experience for people, because it's like part mastermind group, part AA, part family reunion. Like it's a very unique experience that it's when people try to explain it to people, they're like, you just got to feel it. You just got to see it because there's nothing else like it. And so I am committed to making sure that we deliver that same experience online that we were able to deliver face to face. And again, my goal is 300 people. And that's crazy. Like, that sounds so crazy to me to think in 30 days, we're going to impact 300 entrepreneurs. But I need to serve that many people because I know what that need looks like out there. So I'm going to put something crazy out there and know that it's not about me, not about my needs, but we're going to serve these people. We're going to serve our way through it.
That's what's up. And then as we wrap this down, you mentioned, build a plane while you're flying it. And that's like a huge step. You're asking me, Isha, what you just asked me to do was to take my little Rudy Poot idea in my head and run with it. And it's not, I don't have a business plan laid out. I don't have the 5-page financial report ready to go for 5 years, although I ain't got no revenue, no inventory for the last 6 years. You want me to move? You want me to step out and move and I'm not ready to go? And how? Help me out.
Entrepreneurship is nothing but an experiment anyway. And I think we actually waste a whole lot of time developing out that 20-page business plan based on something that you don't even know. You're pulling things together based on somebody else's data, based on somebody else's inputs. You don't know because that's not your product. That's not your audience. That's not you. You bring your thing to the table anyway. So I have found it to be much more effective when you start with that hypothesis and you say, you know what? Here's what I think. I think this group of people want this thing, or they have this problem and I can solve it. Now let me go test this and see if I'm right. And you put it out there and you may find out, okay, I was right about this stuff over here. I was wrong about that. Now let me make this adjustment on the stuff that I was wrong about. But I see too many people that go and they invest their life savings into the hypothesis before they even test it. So you hire, all these graphic designers and you build this big, sexy website and you got all this slick collateral and all this stuff based on a hypothesis. You don't even know if that's your target audience yet. You haven't worked your messaging out. You have none of this. And so then when you do figure it out, now you got to trash all that stuff and start over. So just start small, get out there, figure it out. If you're wrong about certain things, you can make the adjustment. It's not the end of the world. Nobody's gonna die. So just get out there and start doing it and learn from it. And that's the biggest thing. Pay attention to what's going on. Like, know what things you need to pay attention to. Hey, put this message out there, got this kind of engagement, or, did this thing, this was the result, that worked, try this, that didn't work so well. Let me do more of this. So you've got to be measuring, you've got to be paying attention to what are the results looking like so that you can continue to improve on it. But none of us are going to do it all right. I don't care how long you plan. None of us know all the answers. You don't figure it out until you get out there and you do it.
That is crazy. That is absolutely right. When you're moving out and trying, I think, taking the first step, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step, but that's not exactly correct. The journey of 1,000 miles begins under one's feet. It begins with a thought of what I'm going to do. I want to have this business. Okay, you've started your journey. The next step is the step that you take. You know what I'm saying? So people get it twisted. You're already in the move. So go ahead and make it move. There's nothing wrong with starting small and building. I moved into the Greek paraphernalia world, right? So got with an organization and I could have gone to big players, could have gone to AKAs, could have gone to Deltas. But I got with a group of Sigma Gamma Rhos because we connect here in the area with parties and events. We begin to understand the market, what their needs are, what they're missing, what they've been asking for, and no one wants. Okay, here I come. So then me and my partner get together and said, let's slow roll this thing. Let's slow roll it and build, see what the need is, then build, see what the need is. And all of a sudden, people begin to understand who we are and say, Mark, we heard you and your partner have these items. We want this, we want this, we want this. As we build up to the national, but things have happened. Things got canceled. But nonetheless, the mindset I had though, Isha, going forward was a slow burn, but go do something. Start with a few products and I got a rack of products. But I could have gone for a whole nother year and talked about it and looked at what I do for my job and like, oh, I wish, but I just made a move and slow build. And as a result, quick year went by, in year two, and now things are starting to move. So that is the point of more entrepreneurs and people would take that step to get going. I found the same thing with speakers, right? As you know, that I got this message. I want to talk. Well, doggone it, let's go talk. Easy for us to say. We've been doing it for 20 years. But
Right.
to hear them try to pull that message out and then try to formulate it into something that's repeatable and who's the essence of them, right? It's a beautiful thing, but Lord have mercy, it's a struggle. They don't want to get up. They don't want to hit the fruit. But you got to move forward, though. You have to move forward.
That's right. And you get out there and you go speak at that, you know, free little meetup with 10 people, with 5 people, with 3 people. That's okay. And you keep getting up and you refine the message. You don't have to start out with the auditorium of 1,000 people. You start out in front of 3, no pay. And you work that thing, you work it. And then when you get into you know, an audience of 1,000 people, you're ready.
So I mean, again, me and I should go back about 42 years. MIC days, you know, I never fall back to that time. We're making an account. All my people making an account. We're gonna chime in right now. We had to get that script and walk in and prepare. Isha, let me tell you something. Who knew? Who really knew besides God that 13 years ago, 14 years ago, whatever it was, that this would allow me to do what I do now, not taking that first step to go into that training to, for whatever reason we got there. I think at that time I got an MIC, I was in this spot with a lost business and trying to regroup. My cookie store had gone down, so we're just trying to make some money, and this was a good way to get some revenue stream in and cut my teeth, right? Who knew?
And I had just gotten laid off from you know, a major global corporation, which I was actually excited about. I wanted to get laid off, but I had been wanting to speak professionally since I was a little girl. And so when I saw that opportunity come through and then saw Lonnie was doing it and was like, oh, I'm getting ready to do this. And yeah, it was, and not only the opportunity to be able to get up in front of audiences, refine our gift, but the relationships. That was the most valuable thing that came out of it, is the relationships that we built through that. And all these years later, we still connect, we still work on stuff together. Like, that has become an unbreakable bond. And, you know, as entrepreneurs, that's one of the things that I hope to be able to help people replicate, to build those relationships that are going to serve you through the ups and through the downs. And there'll be times when you can come to somebody else's aid and help them to do what they do. And there's times when, you know, you'll be able to send business somebody else's way, whatever that looks like. But to just be able to truly hold each other down no matter what. That's what we need right now. And through all this craziness that coronavirus has brought, one thing that has happened is we are all in this together, the entire world. And there was so much discord, not just in this country, but around the world. I mean, I felt like we were on the brink of World War III. And look at us now. We're people are nervous. There's uncertainty there, but we're all in this together. And that's a beautiful thing. We're going to get through this. We're going to get through this. And I hope we hold on to the unity that is being created through this process.
Right. You're about to slide to a whole other conversation. But yes, all of that is true. And again, right now with the people who are trying to just push forward and stay encouraged, again, this is the reason for the live, and is to drop some encouragement in on you to don't give up, keep moving, right? Keep moving, make progress where you can. And regardless if it's a major progress or a smaller progress, all progress is progress. And eventually it wraps itself around and then boom, you know, what they say, success is not one big major event. It's a series of small wins along the way that you have. And all of a sudden you look back, oh, I got here now, look at all that over there that you had to go through to be who you are at this moment. Yeah. And that is what's happening. So Isha, we're gonna do, so my other speaker hadn't posted in, so if you got some more you want to talk about, if not, you want to wrap down and give us your website again and all of your.
You know, I can talk all day, so we can let's just keep having the conversation.
All right, out there on TV land, you got something to chime in on. I got you on Facebook on the phone, so if there are any questions that you want to ask Isha right now, just go ahead and drop them online. We'll try to get them in. Isha, so now when people are trying to get the reboot, we talked about the change of schedule, we're talking about kind of normal. What are your recommendations again for entrepreneurial lane right at this point, or if you want to move over to come out of this? What are you telling your
So one of the things that, and I'll say this is even something that I'm doing personally, is figuring out what my new metrics are. Because even though it's like all of this is an experiment, what are the things that you're tracking? Like you need to be tracking something. So when you get up every day to be able to say, all right, I need to, so just to give you an example, and I'm going to try to like peek around the corner and look at my little whiteboard, but I have this big whiteboard that sits on my office wall. And on that whiteboard, I have, these are the things that I need to be doing daily or weekly. And I've got little check boxes. If it's something I'm supposed to do 5 days a week, I got a little check box. And at the end of the day, I need to check it off. If it's something once a week, then okay, did I do it? Something as simple as, did I close my rings on my Apple Watch, which means that I got off my tail and actually got a little bit of exercise. All right, I need to close my rings every day. So to be able to give yourself some sense of structure right now, even if you don't know exactly what you're supposed to be doing, what are those practices that you can put in place right now that you can measure and just say, okay, every day I'm going to get up and I'm going to reach out to 5 prospective clients, or every day I'm going to just immerse myself in learning something new. I'm going to listen to a podcast. I'm going to read for 30 minutes. Whatever that thing, I'm going to learn technology, because, a lot of us are now having to move things online. I've been using Zoom for years. I've been creating online courses for, like, that wasn't a new thing for me, but some other things that now I got to figure out how to do a little better. So let me figure these new tools out, or how to take my level of mastery to that next level. So figure out what those things are you need to be doing on a recurring basis and track them, because we need to feel like we're getting some wins. Like you may not see money coming in the door every day, but if you can go to bed at the end of the day and say, I checked my boxes off. I did the stuff that I needed to do today. I made progress. And so you can go to bed at night feeling fulfilled, like you didn't just lay on the couch and Netflix binge all day and eat your quarantine snacks. Like you got up and you did something. And so figure out what are those things that you need to do and hold yourself accountable to them. That's a big piece that will help to keep you focused and moving forward right now.
Right, and it is something too that achievement stuff. I dropped my podcast from about a few months ago today on the Facebook line called "Death to the To-Do List," right? And so I had this thought, I had this epiphany coming back that the to-do list doesn't really do anything for me. It's to do. So now I call it the achievement list. What can I achieve? And that little letterman change makes a difference when you don't feel like you're doing it. I have my list right now of things to achieve is really kind of get this done, clean this box, get this together, get ready. When I'm home most of the day, because I'm at work and I come home at 5:36 to start my second, third job, these things get pushed aside. So now all of a sudden, these are small things that need to get done. I find myself, like you just said, I don't think I did anything oh, wait a minute, I did go here. Ooh, look at that. And it helps. It doesn't make me feel like I'm sitting around and losing my summer body before I get here, because summer will get the body I give it. But it's like that how can you get ready to go and just have some progress and momentum, right? Like every time I talk about the momentum thing, I think about the flywheel, right? You got this big wheel, the wheel in the wheel, and the inside wheel is doing this. And the big wheel is slowly turning. But once that sucker goes around and it starts cranking, you don't need the little one anymore. It just goes. And that's what I think like achievement does for us. It gets us moving, and then all of a sudden it just rolls. And it draws. If you are in that mindset and you are drawing things, and it draws more success to you, or it draws more of whatever you not want to do. So I think that's a huge point right there.
And I think one of the things too is most of us, when we focus on just that to-do list, it's the random stuff. I need to clean out my closet. I need to do laundry. I need to, those things that's not moving your life forward. That's just random stuff that needs to be done. But making sure that we have on that, and I love what you called the achievement list. These are the things that are really going to move the needle. Because too often we aren't focusing on that stuff. We're majoring in the minors. You're spending all day responding to emails, or you get sucked into social media and you looked up and, okay, I've been on Instagram, I've been on Facebook for 2 hours doing what, and now even LinkedIn. I've been using LinkedIn a lot more. And although that's the professional network, you can still get sucked in. And so it's, did I get on here and did I do what I was supposed to do? And so making sure that you are keeping track of, if I repeat these habits on a weekly, a daily, a monthly basis, I am going to see progression. I won't look the same a month from now as I look today. If I'm just responding to emails, I may look exactly the same a month, a year from now as I look today, because I still got 32,000 unread messages in there. And getting to inbox 0 doesn't necessarily mean I moved my business forward, but am I investing my time and energy on the right things?
That's some good stuff right there. That's some good stuff. All right, Isha, we're gonna move it on. I think we'll just do something different. Again, did you give us all where the book is again, your website?
Yes, so go to ishaonpurpose.com. That is where, well, let me do this. There's so many different things. Go to ishaonpurpose.com. Just sign up for that, because that is going to get you plugged in. I will get you everything you need to know about everything. But if you go to ishaonpurpose.com, just drop your email address, you're going to get plugged in for the book launch, for that teaching. But even if you don't care about the book, just do that, because again, that's going to allow me to tell you about startup life support, to tell you about all the things that will help you to move forward, whatever your goals are right now. So that's how we can stay connected. And in terms of social media, I'm everywhere. I'm probably most connected on LinkedIn, where we can have a good conversation. That's a good way to plug in with me also.
That is, and please, when you after you get off, make sure you put that in on the comment lines, your website and everything, so people can have it. And definitely tag me when you launch your startup life support online. And I want my book. I'm just saying.
I got you.
All right, Isha, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming in and hanging out with us.